there's a reason people used the cheat engine behind the scenes in the dark, and they were very open about using AUTOCLICKers. Like, there's a reason for that. Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a sit-down conversation with my friend Darth Microtransaction. Now that we've had a little bit of time, 7 to 10 days of the dust settling and stuff, I think this whole AUTOCLICKer cheat engine type thing has been a lot more divisive and a lot more combative than a lot of us thought it was going to be. So I thought we would have a conversation about maybe why that is, why that's occurring, why the community is so split, why people are fighting with each other, calling each other out, and why this has become such a big issue in the community. I wanted to tackle that topic here and bring someone on the channel to do so. So that's what this conversation is going to be. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Okay, so now we are joined by the official DoorDash sponsor himself, Mr. Darth Microtransaction.
Our private webcam session's over. Let me get this button.
Yeah, get buttoned up, man. Come on. Buttoned up. Okay. How you doing today, Darth?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, you know. After our collab that we just did for my OnlyFans, I'm feeling fantastic. And I'm looking forward to our next collab here.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm not even going to respond to that. We're just going to move on. Okay.
Sure.
I wanted to, because I only did like the, right at the initial start of it, the one video with like the panel discussion to kind of let people know what was going on. But I haven't done a video talking about kind of the aftermath and why this is such a crazy issue. So I thought it'd be fun to bounce back and forth and talk about like, why is what's going on in the community right now so divisive? Like why is everybody so at each other's throats? Or why are content creators calling each other out? Like why is it so divisive? What is it about this issue that's causing this in the raid community? So I'll let you kind of take it from there for a second.
Okay, so the standpoint being that the AUTOCLICKers, the cheat engines, all the different things here have kind of split the fence a little bit for the community. Yeah, I think I agree with that point. I'll put it this way. There are more people disagreeing right now than I've almost ever seen in the game. Weirdly enough, like most people tend to agree about most things, which is Plarium trying to us, you know, and we all kind of like, yep, you know, we kind of just subtly nod our heads together. But this one really does kind of seem where, you know, it's friend against friend, brother against brother, you know, son against father. It's really kind of it is kind of a split community thing. Why? I couldn't be so. Maybe it's because there's a lot more people using these devices than we originally thought. I couldn't really tell you why, to be honest. I didn't expect it. You know, I mean, after seeing BG's video, I didn't expect the response that ended up happening.
Well, I'll give you my perspective. I think it's divisive because both sides have a point. I think that's when things become divisive, is when both sides make sense. Like you've got the two basic perspectives in the community right now are perspective A is all third-party tools and assistants are cheating and are wrong because all people that play the game don't have equal access to these things. So it's just wrong. And anything you do that's not a natural part of the mobile device game is a cheat and it shouldn't be allowed. That's perspective A. Perspective B is there's levels to this. Like some things fall in the levels and the realm of being an accepted tool. And then you get to the things like cheat engine, where you are actually changing the game, and that's crossing the line. So you've got one side where shut it all down, it's all wrong, and then one side where, okay, like let's have a gray area here where we can improve our quality of life without like abusing mechanics of how the game functions. And both sides have an argument. Like I get both perspectives, I really do. So that's why it becomes so divisive, is both sides think like, how do I not make sense here? How does the other side not understand where I'm coming from? And that's when it becomes divisive.
Yeah, I think what I see here is something very similar. Maybe I see something slightly different, which is basically I think everyone has the same problem. Like everyone kind of is feeling which isn't a problem that I really feel. I guess, to be honest, I didn't really realize people were having this problem. It's probably why I feel a little bit blindsided by this issue, is because I only play the game casually when I want. Like, I play like an hour a day, if that. But the
Yeah.
game takes, it takes way more than that, and that's kind of been a building point from what I'm understanding from the people I'm talking point, in the anger and frustration and all that stuff has been kind of building there. And normally when people are feeling like controlled about something, some people go out of their way to like figure ways around it, even if it's, like breaking the law or something, right? Some people would say they're hungry, they're being oppressed by the government or whatever, they can't get out. Some people will break the law to steal food or what have you. And then the people who are like, hey, I'm also dealing with a similar problem, but I didn't go break the law to deal with that problem. They get angry at the other people because they're like, hey, we're all in the same situation, but we didn't do what you did. So it's not mutually exclusive. Like, I can't really disagree, like you're saying, with either side, but it feels like fence riding to say that. It's like, I've used auto clickers, I promoted auto clickers for my own financial gain on here by promoting BlueStacks, for instance, too. So it is almost impossible for me to go out of my way and be 100% unbiased. But it's like, I get how me auto clicking could have made people mad. I've always thought I followed Plarium's rules because they said auto clicking was okay. Like, even when I was in the content creator program, I didn't even data mine. Like, part of the reason I got so annoyed with them was like, I tried to actually follow all of the rules. Like, I really didn't leak shit and stuff when I was in there. So that was really that part's kind of frustrating. I get how legitimate players are getting upset by what we would call cheaters, and I could understand how this community got to this point. But I think probably the bigger issue. I'm trying to be an adult about it and all that. Really think through every perspective.
What? Wait, what is this? A new year, new you, or
maybe a little bit? It's the age.
you buttoned one more button on your shirt, and now you're all adult and reserved.
I'm the OGM. Darth Micros become Darth Macros.
Growing up. Darth's growing up.
I know. So it's like, I'm trying to be fair and really think it through, and everyone's perspective. It's like, I get the division, but I think we all have to kind of remember we all have the same problem. You know what I mean? We got the own same problem. And now, if we can all agree that, hey, there was a cheat engine, let's all agree not to use the cheat engine. I don't know the auto clicker solution. I really don't. As far as I'm aware, Plarium hasn't changed their stance on that. And like, I've never really cared if anyone used it. I always expected people, like, everyone was using it. That's the way I felt about it.
Well, there is no solution. Like, both sides have a point. Both sides have an argument. So the only solution is play by the rules that Plarium makes. That's the only, so basically it works like this. If your enjoyment of the game and the community outweighs the rules of the game, then you should play. If your annoyance and frustration with the rules outweighs your enjoyment of the game, then you shouldn't play. And because, like, spending your life raging at the people that run it, like, you're not really getting. Yeah, you're not getting a return. And a good example of this is I was gonna play in a golf tournament, and I found out they had this weird rule where they weren't going to score all 18 holes. At the end of the round, they were going to pick 6 random holes, and they were going to pick the winner based on the score of those 6 random holes they picked at the end. So instead of raging at the tournament directors, I just said, you know what? That outweighs my enjoyment of a golf tournament, so I'm not going to play. So, like, if the bottom line is, the reason it seems like I'm fence sitting on whether autoclickers should be allowed or not is because I don't care. I just play by the rules. Like, if Plarium came out and said, you know what, all third-party things are not allowed, I'd be like, okay, fine. I don't care. Like, my enjoyment of Raid and the Raid community outweighs that rule. So I would be like, whatever, fine. I won't use them. But if their stance is they're allowed, then okay, I'll play by your rules and I'll use them. Like, so that's why I don't really care, whichever. So ultimately, all we can do is play by their rules.
Wouldn't change anything for me. I mean, I haven't used an auto clicker in probably damn near 6 months at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we can't even advertise BlueStacks anymore anyway, because Plarium removed the thing. I mean, I couldn't even do that if I wanted. So it's like, it really matters very little to me. But like, if people still use it, I don't care. like someone said in my comments, and I thought it was a good point, that like Raid's almost a single player game at this point. Like, you know what I mean? There's only the CVC, and I guess people were saying you could do it for arena refreshers or something. I don't know. I don't understand the cheat engine the way I should, so I'm sure my opinion isn't 100% what it should be. But it's, from what I understand, the only parts of the game that it could actually really influence is the PvP, and other than that, people are just really using it to speed up their dungeon runs. And that kind of comes back to the conversation of like simming, and should we be allowed to rush certain things? Should the game be sped up?
Yeah, it's
There's other conversations to be had too.
from what I've heard from the people that compete high and plat is it's a big deal because you can play a more slow, defensive, consistent style and then just speed it up with cheat engine and make up the difference. So you can get more battles in, you can get more wins in, you can get more trophies, you can get a higher rank than would otherwise be attainable if you weren't able to edit the speed of the game. And I get that frustration. That would be frustrating if somebody has access to that and you don't, because that's not just whether you can auto click overnight or not. That's literally changing the strategy of the game, of the only competition of this game, which is the arena. So yeah, and which is why I say, that's why you have to have definitive levels. Just like speeding is one that I would like to use in this situation. Like, it's wrong to go 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. Like, you should get pulled over. You should get a ticket. You broke the law. You're in the wrong. But as a society, we've kind of accepted, like, okay, if you're going 1 or 2 miles an hour over the speed limit, the cops should, by and large, just kind of look the other way and let you do that. But that's not the same as going 40 miles an hour over the speed limit. You should get pulled over. You should get a massive penalty for that. Because, there's levels to this. So that's how I view this. I view an auto clicker as going like 2 or 3 miles an hour over the speed limit. And I view the cheat engine as going 30 or 40 miles an hour over the speed limit. Like, there's a reason people used the cheat engine behind the scenes in the dark, and they were very open about using auto clickers. Like, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I kind of liked your point about is just, hey, just follow the rules. I mean, that's kind of what I always did. It was just, they said all clickers are Gucci, so let's use auto clickers. Like, I can promote auto clickers.
Yep.
It's fine. They always said it's good. I've said that in basically all my videos. I'm like, Plarium says it's good. You won't get banned for using auto clickers. Here you go. It's always kind of been like their stance. And if they ever came out and said, hell, they said the use of any third party and all that stuff, they didn't say anything about auto clickers. If they mentioned something about it, same deal. Just like, okay, stop using auto clickers, not worth the risk of a ban. I don't, all this stuff about like, does it ruin my enjoyment? Is it the speed of time? Like, all of it to me is almost a mute point, because it's like, I just don't want to get banned. Like, that's the only thing. In almost any game I've ever played, they're mostly MMO, so it's you spend like thousands of hours of time on a character, and it's like your number one thing you don't want to get banned. It's like starting a new character absolutely is not what you want to do. And that's how I feel about Raid too. It's like the free to play and the new seasons are fun. I can dick around with the early polls and try that stuff, but it's like, if I lost my main, you can't come back from that. You know what I mean? It would be a long process of being like, oh, I got banned for auto clicking. You've got to be, first of all, can I get $16,000 refund from a year ago? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like so that's my biggest thing is like, it's not worth the risk of a ban. Like, just don't use the cheat. And if they catch you, like, it's over. People are saying they're getting banned. I'm sure as shit when running on my main account.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't know that this cheat engine thing existed until 7 to 10 days ago. I learned about it from BGE's video. And I was like, wait, what is this? And then I kind of skimmed through it. He released that video at like midnight my time, so I kind of quickly skimmed through it, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? If I let's say 2 years ago, I heard about cheat engine, I can tell you exactly what I would have done. I would have went to Plarium and I would have said, what's the stance on this? Like, is this something you're going to look the other way on? Is this something that is allowed, but you're not going to allow people to promote? Like, what is the stance on this? And if I got anything other than, yeah, you can use this, I wouldn't have used it. So Like
Yeah.
all we can do is play by their rules. You know, they're the one that has to draw these lines.
I get it. The frustrating part with Plarium is it's almost never consistent, because I remember back when data mining was just starting to happen with
Yeah,
YouTubers.
yeah.
Like, I reached out to, I think it was Diamond at the time, and I told him, I was like, look, man, like, it's really frustrating for me. Like, I don't data mine. I don't go out of my way to breach the stuff. The only thing they ever liked me for was my negative videos. But like, I never actually had a problem with, you know, the Diamond or whatever. Like, he was a cool guy, but it's just that's the only thing they didn't like. But I never did the data mining. Like, I didn't go out of my way to leak stuff. Like, I actually was like kind of careful. They tell you something, or whatever. So it's frustrating to me that we would all agree, like, let's all not talk about it, more or less. And then one guy would go out and data mine it or whatever. So I sent them a message like, can this be allowed? Can this, is this not allowed? What's the thing? And their response to it was, if it's in the game and people have access to it, like if we put it out there and they have access to it, then that's our fault. So anything that can be done in the game is like our fault if it can be done, basically. Like, that was their attitude. And I was like, really? Like, that doesn't seem anything remotely like a solid stance on anything. It's just, if it can be done in the game, it's our fault.
It was the opposite of a solid stance. But it was the way it came off to me was, we ask nicely that you don't do it, but if you do, you're not going to get in trouble. That was the way it came off to me, was like, we would prefer you don't data mine, but if you do, we're not going to punish you. And it was like, okay, so I get
why even have the rules?
Yeah, exactly. But that's the way it came off to me, and it's been like that. It's been like that for a few different things. Account giveaways are another one, where they were kind of because like I was the last one to do account giveaways, because like I told you, I always go straight to them and I ask for clarification. Like I would have done if I knew about the cheat engine. I would have went and asked if I can use it. So I saw people doing giveaways. I went to them and I said, "Hey, are you cool with us doing account giveaways?" And they were like, we don't think you should do that. Let me ask for clarification." Right. And so I didn't. I was like, okay, that's all I needed to hear. I won't do it. And then after 5 months of seeing giveaway from every single person, I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna start doing it too, because obviously they don't actually care about it.
It was the same deal with me. Like, I started seeing the giveaways pop up. I was like, well, what's the point of, no, I mean, obviously it's been something I've done a billion of these things now. I give away accounts all the time. And it's like, I'm going to keep doing it because people quit the game and then they don't use their account or whatever. I always tell people you got to be careful, because somebody could always try to go back and recover their account using their billing information and all that stuff.
And, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to be careful with that. I would never spend money on an account that wasn't originally yours to begin with. But it's kind of cool to see people, let other people use their account or whatever while they're not playing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I do kind of want to give Plarium credit for that, because it would be really easy for them to put their foot down on that and say, like, hey, nobody in the content creation program's allowed to participate in account giveaways. And that you could argue that would make them more money if they didn't allow that. So like the fact that they do kind of agree to just turn a blind eye to that is kind of a nod to them on at least letting us kind of have fun and do those kind of giveaways and stuff.
Yeah, the fact that they're not going out of the way to ban people for giving away dead accounts is nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we went off kind of on a couple different points there, but I thought it would be a good idea just to kind of get a few perspectives out there, because I know it's kind of the hot thing in the community, and I do want to say it's a little bit unfortunate to see people so divided and constantly arguing with each other and stuff. At the end of the day, I hope everybody can kind of have your perspective. That's totally cool. And if you want to, leave your opinion in the comment section, if you agree or disagree with me and Darth, that's obviously totally fine. I love reading your guys' perspectives. Just try not to like fight amongst each other. Like, at the end of the day, we're all raid players, and all we can really do is play by Plarium's rules. And, if they allow stuff, we can use it. If they don't allow stuff, we probably shouldn't use it. But that's kind of how I feel about it in closing, I guess.
That's pretty much been my stance the whole time. My stance really hasn't changed at all with this thing. I just got kind of blindsided by it. I woke up in the morning and saw BGE had posted the video to the chat we have. And I was like, what is this? Because, cheating. I mean, I'm just more disappointed no one didn't tell me about this so I can come out with it. I mean, this is absolutely the type of thing. What video on? Give me another controversy next to my name, another asterisk. But no, I beat me to this one, unfortunately. So props to them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I would have covered it or what I would have done if I'd have known about it. I probably would have really pushed hard for Plarium to take a stance on it. I would have said, hey, I want to let people know if this is allowed or not, so I need an answer from you. And then I probably would have done a video being like, hey, this is what it is, and it's not allowed or it is allowed. That's probably the route I would have tried to go if I would have known this thing existed, but those days are over. Now it's out of the bag.
Well, it's Wild West now, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, people are getting banned left and right. People are high nooning in the street. There's videos popping up. Man, I don't know what happened. Tell you what, you wake up a week later and it's like, the planets in the apocalypse when it comes to YouTube. That's the great thing about the YouTube game, Brad. There's always something going on. It's an ever evolving landscape here. You wake up every day and it's a different day, baby.
Yeah, we're just here for the ride.
All right. Thank you, viewers.
Cool. Have a good one, Darth. Thanks for joining me.
As always. Until the next video.
That's right. Alrighty, so that's gonna do it for this one. As always, would love to hear what you think down in the comments. What you agree with, what you disagree with. I really enjoy reading your perspective, especially on issues like this where there's lots of different ways to kind of come at it. So also, massive shout out to my good friend Darth for joining me and taking the time to sit down and have this conversation with me. A link to his stuff will be down below. You should definitely check out his channel as well. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.